This video is brought to you by Squarespace, building websites for those of us who can't. In today's video, we find out how I went from this to this and everything in between, you know, kind of like Pokemon evolutions. Let's get into it. It all started February 20th. I was born a baby just like everybody else. Square nose and all. Leg hair, not so much. I did put leg hair on all these characters just because it's something that I've turned into a characteristic of mine, I guess. But later I did realize that as a kid or a preteen, I definitely cared about shaving my legs. So I do get rid of the hair later, but I thought it'd be funny. Baby Kasey with hair? Classic. Anyways, babies and young kids just kind of look like babies and young kids. There's not much personality or style with a kid because usually a kid is dressed by their parents. And to be honest, I can't really remember a lot of outfits I had as a kid, just vague. I remember my mom making us these dresses, so I made myself a dress. Also, if you were wondering what the sketch was when I first started, at first I was thinking about iconic outfits from each timeline of my life, and a huge memory of mine, me and my sister would fill our bathing suits as kids with sand. I want to say at one point we even used pears or some kind of fruit. Look, I couldn't tell you what we were doing, but we were kids. We loved it. There are photos, but it was kind of weird, so I ditched it for just a simple, cute dress and a lightning bug because as a kid, I loved catching lightning bugs. And there it is, me as a baby and me between the ages of 0 and 6 to some age of a young child. I had blonde, wavy hair babies. Moving on to our 10-year-old Kasey. Do keep in mind that these are more of an age range than they are a specific age. So this is what you would call my childhood Kasey. Being a 90s kid, there were a few things that were definitely must-haves if you were a kid. Small electronics, we're talking Tamagotchis, Nano babies, Digimon. You've got your Game Boys, any sort of handheld device. If it's electronic, oh boy, the 90s were about it. I was a bit of a tomboy. I did like a lot of girly things too, but definitely more on the tomboy side. I grew up with video games. I liked bigger, baggier clothes, and I definitely have a core memory of being in middle school, shopping for clothes before school, and finding out that baggy clothes were out, tight, low rise, butt crack showing pants were in, and it was devastating. And this was before the internet was a thing. I was a 90s kid. We had our local mall, and that was pretty much it. Nowadays, you can find anything in any style anywhere on the internet, get it shipped. Honestly, it's probably for the best that I didn't have access to that as a kid though, so... Moving on to another fashionable item I loved were my tennis shoes. I only had these shoes for a very short time. I think these were, I want to say a short-lived fad. It was these platform, like huge 2 to 3 inch platform tennis shoes. I think the Spice Girls made them popular, or maybe it was the 90s. I don't know. I was a kid. Long story short, I only had those shoes for a few weeks, I think, left them on the back of my dad's car, and he drove to work the next day. I did cry. R.I.P. shoes. 25 years later, and I'm not ready to talk about it. Moving on. Well, here it is, everyone's favorite stage in life. It's the awkward teenage phase, and oh boy, did it hit me hard. I feel like even to this day, I'm still aging like a fine wine. I looked absolutely awful in middle school, didn't get much better in high school, and it's been a slow burn, but you know what? We've gotten somewhere, okay? We've gotten somewhere. I want to be honest, middle school sucked. Most of my girlfriends moved on to being super girly, wearing makeup, talking about boys, all of that stuff, and it just wasn't my vibe. I was awkward, into video games, didn't like partying, didn't like dancing. I just wanted to play games, and no girls wanted to do that, and the kids at school who did do that were really made fun of at this time. Video games weren't cool yet. Liking anime wasn't cool yet. I was definitely your basic teenage girl. Well, awkward, nerdy girl. Most of my t-shirts have some sort of video game reference. I did a lot of layering with plain long t-shirts, basic pants. I was introduced to Chuck Taylors as a teenager, and I wore the same pair from, let's see, I think it was 8th grade all the way through until college when they were falling apart. R.I.P. A lot of deaths in my life. Anyway, awkward teen years. Hello, it's me. I'm 385 years old. It makes sense if you watch the rest of the video. God, I'm dying. But thanks to Squarespace, my life will live on the internet forever. Thanks, Squarespace. Oh, look, it's young Kasey now. She can talk normal. Oh, thank God. Hey, thanks Squarespace. With their flexible website templates, you can get started with a professionally designed Squarespace website template, then customize your look, update your content, and add features to fit your needs. It's easy, it's simple, even I can do it. You can even make your own online store, customize your product listings with images, videos, reviews, related products, and add-ons that help you make more sales. And with Squarespace payments, get started in just a few clicks and start receiving payments right away. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/KaseyGolden to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Keep watching to find out about old Grandma Kasey. Okay, now we're getting into the good years, and by good years, I mean now we're getting into a body type that I know how to draw and I'm used to drawing. It's adult Kasey. So a lot was going on in my 20s, definitely a finding myself. I'm in college. My hair was basically the same, but I did have a mohawk for 6 months. I didn't bother drawing it just because I felt like a span of 5 years can't be boiled down to a 6-month haircut. Right. In college, I definitely was a lot more social than I was in my middle and high school days. I made more friends. I found more nerds. I got to study Japanese at my college and studied abroad for a year. I mean, that's pretty much Japan-loving nerd, right? My young adult years were definitely my nerdiest years. I was cosplaying, going to anime conventions, reading lots of manga, watching anime, collecting stuff. Definitely my social nerd era. My fashion sense in my early adult years was just as bad as my fashion sense in my teenage years, so I didn't want to bother drawing any more sad clothing, so I drew a cosplay that my sister and I did. I used a photo reference. I actually really enjoyed drawing this one. It was nostalgic, it kind of made me sad. Oh gosh, I'm gonna die one day. Moving on to the Kasey most of you know and love. This is the early YouTube days Kasey. Now, I didn't start a YouTube channel until I was 27. However, like I said, this is a sort of span of years. So this is I just moved to Canada. Life is looking up. I have a spring in my step. I'm a married woman. New country, new life. Oh boy, what does the future hold? I am super excited. My YouTube career is taking off. My fashion sense is improving, and I am wearing my iconic cartoon self outfit, but honestly, that is based off of real clothes anyway, so I thought it'd be cute to tie it all together. I love striped shirts. I was discovering crop tops. I love skirts. Definitely different from my teenage years. My favorite fashion discovery is wearing 2 different colored socks that are the same pattern, but different color. I've got that iconic bob that I'm honestly so sick of, but don't know what else to do with. It's my 25s Kasey. Look at her go. She's finding her place in the world. She's finding where she's supposed to go. She's pursuing her passions. Where will she go next? Well, we've got one more drawing left. Oh my god, this is when it cuts to the next drawing and it's just me, a pile of bones, and this is when I announce that this is a scheduled video for when I die. Guess what? Oh my god, that would be so... That gasp was me actually considering... No, I've got to move on. Okay, let's move on to our next and final drawing. What happened there? And finally, February 20th, 2025, I turned 35 years old, starting a new chapter in my life. Where will I go next? What kind of fashion? What in the year what? Wow. Don't worry, I'll make a video every 10 years just to update you guys on this video. Don't you worry, when I'm 85 years old, I'll be making art with my mind that's installed directly into my brain. It's gonna be great, you guys. Anyway, the past 6 months has been crazy for me. I got a new haircut. I got my first ear piercings, which then resulted into 2, 4, 6 holes in my ears and also a nose piercing. And now I have 3 tattoos. I do make a lot of jokes that I'm going through a midlife crisis and that's why I'm going through such a change, but I always knew that I would eventually get tattoos. I just didn't know what exactly I wanted to get. And now that I kind of feel like I want to go through a change and I'm just kind of going for it and I have no regrets, and honestly I feel like this look really fits who I am, so hell yeah. Baggy clothes are back. I'm accessorizing so much more than I used to. Like I said, it started with piercings. I'm trying to wear more necklaces and what are they called? Rings. Oh, and not only do I like to wear different colored socks, I have also moved on to mixing and matching my colors of shoes. So look at me go. I think as far as my character online goes, I'm going to stick to what everyone is used to. I really like that character. It still sort of looks like me, just boiled down to simple details. I cannot wait to start my tattoo video series coming soon. And here's to another 50 years. Maybe I'll have a bionic arm at some point. It's gonna be crazy. Hello, it's me, yeah, 500 Kasey. Popping in to say I'm just a brain and okay, I've got to stop talking. Thank you so much to Squarespace for sponsoring, and goodbye. Goodbye. Read my comic. Link in the description.